Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Turlick, and I'm here with Community Water Team D, talking about critical water data monitoring, prediction, and alerts for everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the problem we're addressing, our idea, our research question, methods, proof of concept, challenges working with demographics, TEK, and data skill sets for ecological forecasting, our team, and next steps. And I'll be presenting alongside my team. So the problem we're addressing is water quality and levels. Why does this matter? Well, floods and storms are the most frequently occurring disaster types and affect the highest number of people of any natural disaster, including 2 billion people over the past 20 years. As well, 2.2 billion people lack safely managed drinking water, including folks locally. There's several reservations, for example, that are accessing drinking water through the Missouri River. As well, water scarcity impacts 40% of the world's population through droughts, increasing the risk of disease, death, and displacement. And these issues are only increasing in frequency and intensity with climate change. In fact, 80% of the natural disasters in the last decade were from floods, droughts, and severe storms. And these issues disproportionately affect vulnerable communities. Yet there is limited sensors, alerts, and access to data regarding critical water information, especially in certain regions. So our idea is Community Water, a comprehensive water monitoring device system to provide critical water data for everyone. So this would involve creating affordable and easy to use water sensor devices that allow community members to measure and share aspects of water quality and levels. It would be affordable and easy to deploy in water bodies like rivers and lakes for personal use, environmental monitoring, as well as citizen science, or as we like to call it, community science. If anyone here is familiar with Purple Air, it'd be similar to that, which provides air quality sensors, but for water. And Purple Air was very helpful in the wildfires. Based on our research and discussion with experts, this does not currently exist for water. It would provide real-time water monitoring, prediction, and alerts based on water level, water quality, temperature, and pH, as well as an AI-powered system to predict and warn people of negative precipitation events like flood, drought, and negative water quality, with a centralized database and map that'll come in handy for governments and others. So we're democratizing and simplifying access to critical water info that could improve health and reduce damage, thereby filling a significant gap in environmental monitoring and personal safety regarding water bodies, potentially having a substantial impact on both local and global scales. Here are some AI-generated images of a potential prototype, which would be easy and simple to use with a green indicator showing that the water is safe. Here's some, oh, sorry for the dog in the background. That is our mascot. Here are some images of a potential data or user interface that users could use. Please excuse the double L's. That's from AI generation. And then here is a map of how the water bins could be showed on a map for the government to use based on water quality. And now I'll pass it to my colleague Rachel to cover our research question.
Awesome. So Jennifer just gave us an overview of like kind of the idea, but underlying that potential technology, we would need a predictive model that we would want to use AI with. And to see if that could actually happen, our research question is asking, can we use available data like water quality and precipitation to help us predict some of these critical water events? So would this technology be possible, basically? And how do these past water quality and precipitation data combine with some other predictors like geographic, demographic factors, land cover, predict water quality and levels in areas without direct sensor monitoring? And then we'd also want to know if we could use AI to help predict where to place additional water monitoring sensors so that people can get the best information, especially in areas with poor water quality and levels that don't maybe have water monitors. So the methods, we would need this is going to be a predictive model with supervised learning. We would need water quality data from the EPA. And as well as additional precipitation data, census data, land cover, and probably soil texture. This would be a regression algorithm, and the problem is prediction, because we want to know whether there is good or bad water quality, and it could be supervised learning as the task. And we envision this as a kind of two-step problem. First, training our model with some of that data and establishing those associations between water quality and our other covariates with our data cube, and then using that to predict and to validate and then predict areas where they maybe don't have some of those water quality or water level monitors, and be able to expand that in time and space to be useful in areas without some of these sensors. And this advantages of an AI approach would be that we could make maybe a stronger predictive model across regions, scale it up, it might be robust to some of the noisiness and precipitation data, and would be less maybe manual work required for people to develop. So this is just pulling out some maps of the data. Here we're showing water quality. This is ammonia concentrations across the state of Colorado. So these are all of the sensors that exist. So you can see there's some good coverage, but the idea is that there are a lot of places that don't have water quality monitors. And so with our model, people could get more localized information, hopefully, to fill in the gaps in the water quality monitoring. And then here is an example of turning that into categorical variables for model where you have the thresholded data. So the red would be bad water quality and the blue is good, though this is theoretical because if you live in Colorado, actually the ammonia concentrations are all in the good range, so don't freak out. This is just to show the potential variation. Additionally, you can overlay that on some demographic data. So this is showing percent poverty, which could also be an input as well as a way for us to evaluate whether there is kind of equitable monitoring or identify potentially underserved communities, and where we could put new water quality monitors or water level monitors for people. So as example, we pulled out the water quality stations with the percent poverty in that map we just showed to see if there are any trends with water quality and ammonia concentrations and potential gaps. So this is both potentially useful for input or evaluating current water monitoring level. So, and then, yeah, just some additional data. I mentioned precipitation because rain events could wash pollutants into surface waters. Land cover, such as impervious surfaces and tree cover, could influence water transport. And then the census data for identifying areas with high impacts or gaps in coverage for water quality monitoring. And yeah.
So we made a proof of concept in the form of an interactive website, which allows you to go onto it and enter your location and then search it. And then you'll be able to see water quality information on top of that map. And we also made an API so that others can use it as well. We also made a hardware prototype where the red light indicates via a water level sensor that the water level is too high, and the green light indicates that the water level is okay. And similar light methodology could be used to indicate water quality level.
Challenges working with demographics, TEK, traditional ecological knowledge, and data skill sets for ecological forecasting. Team D discussed urban and rural ecological issues regarding water. In order to address water quality, ground cover, flooding, economics, and specific demographic populations, we frequently narrowed in on the indigenous urban and rural populations. Since there are little to no data sets regarding TEK, we posed further inquiry into environmental and social justice issues that impact this population, as well as other underserved populations, to be used to inform our understanding. However, TEK, also known as traditional ecological knowledge, is holistic in nature and can be discussed in an interdisciplinary context. One finding that carries significant weight is the use and preservation of native languages in learning and teaching about TEK. Thus, its multi-purpose goes further than water and climate concerns. Consideration regarding working with specific demographic populations should include a reliable source of information that overlaps TEK with data science that is comprehensible in very basic format. And I think that we did that with the prototype model that our colleague here developed.
So our team is made up of myself, an entrepreneur, angel investor, and climate tech venture capitalist, Jen Kovacs, an associate professor of biology at Agnes Scott College and an urban ecologist, Rachel King, who's with the National Center for Ecological Analysis and Synthesis at UC Santa Barbara, and Vivian Delgado, climate specialist with Village Earth. Our next steps include seeking funding to meet at one of our initial testing sites in Boulder, as well as cyber infrastructure and technical and scientific support to complete our project, user feedback and plan refinement through community engagement to validate our assumptions and refine our plan, and then developing a prototype, doing pilot testing, partnership building, community engagement and awareness campaigns, as well as in the future, adding potential future device types to the network, including things like soil monitoring. So with that, I'd like to thank you for listening and invite you to help us fill a significant gap in environmental monitoring and personal safety regarding water bodies, potentially having a substantial impact on both local and global scales by selecting us as the winner of this competition, enabling funding and support for us to embark on this exciting project. Thank you so much, and happy to invite any questions.
Whoa. That was amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Judges, any questions for this team? We have 6 minutes.
Go ahead, Bruno. I saw your hand up.
Okay, thanks. So first of all, that was amazing. Congratulations on the work. I was very positively surprised about the amount of work you did, I think in 2 days. So this was great. Sorry. So one of my questions, I'm gonna just focus on one of those. How do you see this could be related to governmental decisions? Because some of those risks, they just matter if there is people around it and if there is any kind of risk. I'm just saying, for example, with there is some rainfall risks in, for example, Brazil. That's the region I'm from. And we have a lot of land occupations in lands that were not supposed to be occupied, but they are occupied because of the governmental decisions on how to push people away from the more expensive areas. So how do you see this kind your app or your project could be tied with governmental decisions? That was one of my main questions, actually.
Yeah, I think it's something that could really be tied with governmental decisions. For example, I believe Purple Air, the network of air quality sensors, came in really handy for the government for making air quality decisions and governmental decisions during the wildfire outbreak in California. So I do think it's something that could be helpful. Anyone from my team want to expand on that? Okay, yeah, so we think it could be something that could be helpful, and it's a useful topic for further exploration.
Yeah, one of the things I think could be helpful in that particular solution is that it would be affordable. And I think the government would look favorable on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't see people's names, so maybe the judges could just ask other questions.
Yeah, sorry. I think Claire was next.
Okay, hi. Great presentation. I'm especially impressed with what you were able to get done in the proof of concept work. That was great. I'm curious. So you're talking about this AI prediction component, and then also about this distributed sensor network. And so I guess I'm just looking for a little bit of clarity on if you're looking to use the AI to provide predictions to network users, or if you're looking for these distributed sensors to feed the AI, and sort of what the relationship is between that predictive work and the sensors.
Yeah, so I think initially what we're planning to do is use existing data to try and predict negative precipitation events in the absence of widespread sensors. And then we're looking to add sensors to the network and feed those into the prediction, kind of similar to how Google Waze, if anyone here is familiar, leverages individual phones in cars to pipe into traffic data and predicted traffic times. Anyone else want to add on to that, or?
Yeah, and I think like the kind of the Nest looking device you see on this screen right here is kind of like a longer term, like eventually people could be able to have something that would tell them if local water bodies, like Jennifer's like used to go swimming in a body of water that she didn't know had bad water quality that she shouldn't have been swimming in for years, and then because there's no available information, and so eventually people might be able to if there aren't sensors there, they might be able to understand whether local water bodies are safe or not with a kind of personal device like that. But that would be further down because initially you need to build the model to actually see if you can get good predictions of either water quality or water levels or flooding or so we'd probably start with one of those areas like water quality or water levels, not all of it.
Great, thank you.
Maybe I'm next. Thank you again. That was really impressive. I was thinking about the time it takes to make a prediction using all these data, and if you thought about latency, essentially, is the use of AI in this case, is it motivated to improve the quality of predictions or reduce latency, particularly when you bring in a whole new sensor network? And I don't know if the group basically talked about just how quickly you can go from data to predictions and then bringing in new data and make that available to the public.
I think the use of AI we selected for a couple of reasons. We think it could have stronger predictive accuracy, as well as the ability to work in different regions and robustness to noisy data and less manual work required. We'd be looking to optimize the speed of it and make it something that is fairly easy to access and also has low environmental impact in terms of the AI usage. Anyone want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the idea kind of when we were framing it was that after some of these events, that latency is an issue, and so we'd want to be able to use this to kind of cut down on that and give people better and more rapid information following some like potentially especially we talked about like urban flooding and other things, like how you can't maybe the rapidness at which you need to get information right now is not ideal, or like the time, and so reducing that is one of the things we're hoping we could do. Yeah,
I think we were also looking at some of the biases there, that there isn't a data set for traditional ecological knowledge, and that's something we could build into it to reach other underserved or underrepresented populations.
Maybe I can go ahead. So first of all, that's amazing. It's really great features. And so I used to work with environmental protection, so I understand the importance. So two quick comment. So when you're talking about water quality model, in your future plan, do you want to compare with the traditional model where the hydrologist used? And second thing, you are using mostly the supervised learning here, and you're talking about the space. Do you have any plan for future to add more sophisticated unsupervised learning also here?
yeah, I think that would be kind of the idea. Some of it is the members of our team are still learning more about how best to take advantage of that, but initially it's just like kind of like good or bad, but we'd like to build in more sophisticated predictions so you could get more eventually, but kind of starting ideas like start with something smaller or maybe more manageable for us, and then build that out as we go. And then using hydrologic, I don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. But this was kind of, so part of the future would be researching and improve, what's out there, and then building that into our models as well.
Thank you so much. Afraid we're out of time. This was great. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.